Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's your girl Nikki New, aka Nick to the New, aka Nick. I just draw a blank Nick Murder, aka Cold World, and I'm the creator and founder of Nikki New, by the way, and I'm the creator and founder of Are You Mad, the podcast for the people. Now, first of all, I apologize for coming in so late today. Today is Monday, September the 18th, I believe. Yes, September the 18th. I think yesterday I said September the 18th, but today's Monday, September the 18th. Yesterday was Sunday, September 17th. Shout out to all the Virgos. If you're a Virgo, make some noise. All right. We appreciate you, Virgos, for the earth that you, for the perfectionism that you all put forth out there in your efforts to strive to be the best version of yourself that you can be, while also critically shaming those that you love to be the best version of themselves that they can be too as well. That was my little Virgo joke. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. And again, I apologize. I'm not even on TikTok yet. You guys actually here first. I got you guys here first. So now let me get TikTok in on the action. All right. Hey, welcome. Let's get TikTok in on the action so that we can get our emotional support hour started. So the time is actually now 12:30. I know we said between hours of 10 to 11 a.m., but sometimes life be life, and y'all. And I just ask for grace. But at the same token, I'm also trying to find a happy space for us all to be able to meet. And I feel like 12 Eastern Standard Time, maybe general lunchtime. So maybe I can catch you guys while you're on lunch. We're figuring it out. But I had a very interesting conversation with Jace from Combos with Jace right before we are meeting today, and it was very eye-opening, very eye-opening. So again, be sure to catch combos with Jace as we return. If you all have been following the podcast, Are You Mod, streaming on most podcast mediums, you already should know who Jace is. Okay, you should know who Jace is because we love hearing him talk. And today we got Big B in on the conversation as well. So shout out to Becky, who also gave the hetero perspective for the Gen Z. Ooh, Gen Z, you guys have given me some small heart palpitations. I'm not going to hold you. You guys have what I'm understanding for about you all. I love you. I'm going to say that first. Okay, if no one has told you that I do love you. All right. We do love you. Hello. We love you. We love you for the we love you for being informative as you are. And just want to make a little bit of a PSA announcement though, that although you all are very much informative and you have a lot of information that's coming into you left and right, because you all the generation are, I was the generation where I think computers were introduced to the classrooms. Yes, I was a generation millennial, latter part of millennial, where the computers were introduced to us in the classrooms, right? AOL was a thing for us, right? Facebook, I was a part of the exclusive Facebook community that was only for college students, right? So that's how Facebook got me, because they're like, oh yeah, you just talk to other students right from other universities. So it created it to be a safe space. I'm not going to hold you. I felt a little bit taken aback when I realized that Facebook was being open to the general public, because I'm like, wait, this was for us. How come now everybody, can they just letting anybody in here? And back to Gen Z. And back to a little bit of your practices. Now I'm getting input from Gen Z directly. So I know what's going on. And what I'm understanding is that a lot of you all are now probably parents before the age of 25. Right? Thank you. Apparently a lot of you all are oh, thank you. And I want to just take a moment to just kind of speak on that, because I don't know. You appreciate it. I don't know who's advising you all, okay? And I don't know who's guiding you all. And I understand that the media is playing a very heavy role on what you're hearing, and, the headlines and, the drama and things of that nature, okay? So as a millennial, right, who has younger siblings, who is also an educator, and who also is doing my civic duty and giving you all the truth that I missed out on. Well, not that I missed out on. I'm a first generation Ghanaian American, so my parents didn't know. So we were the generation that had to figure it out. And so with me being a generation having to figure it out, I was then able to then able to share my knowledge with first, with my younger siblings and also out to the general public. I also became an educator. I was actually going to become a middle school math teacher at one point in my life. I do have my undergraduate degree in psychology, but then, I experienced my first loss, which is a compilation of how Are You Mad came about. You know what? Because I did everything I was supposed to do, right? I went to school. They said, go to school. I went to school, get a job. I got a job. Well, no. Once I got out of school, there was like, it's a recession. And then once the recession hit, that degree that I had worked so hard for, that was supposed to be my ticket out of the hood, then became, now I don't want to call it a burden, but it became something I was questioning. Like, okay, I have this. You guys told me to get this, but now that I have this, I can't even get to where I need to be. So how am I supposed to pay you back? Sally Mae, who's no longer Sally Mae. I think I got aid advantage now. I don't know who you are. How am I supposed to pay you back if the jobs, I barely qualify for a decent living with the money that I'm making? So now I have to go back to school, get more loans in order to pay you back. The hustle. So I get it. You guys are a little bit more savvy. You guys learned from us and you're like, listen, they went to school and look at them. Look at them now. Get it. I totally get it. But even in a lot of the downfalls of for the millennials that did graduate and did have to go through a recession, the thing that they don't really tell you, like, with higher learning, higher learning actually has its perks, right? You learn how to interact, more in a community base or in a professional type of environment as well. You learn how to disagree, professionally without popping off, so to speak. If you come from where I come from, right, you understand a little bit more about how the world works. And then that's actually where a lot of the lies that were taught to you during elementary school start to then begin to be unraveled, right? You then start to be able to get the truth. Now, shout out to a lot of the bloggers out here now. So you all are also getting the truth in different capacities, okay? Oh, I wish I could let y'all in, but can you just put your comments, put your comments in the put your question or your point in the comments so that I can read it. The reason why I don't bring people up into the lives just yet is because you don't know really who you're going to get. And I like to keep this as an open space and as a safe space for you all to, to connect, to air your grievances. Basically, tell me why you mad, son, right? So the name of this emotional support hour is Tell Me Why You Mad, Son, because, are you mad? Is where we practice mindfulness, is where we incorporate mental health, right? And also holistic healing, our mind, our body, and our soul. Understanding all three parts work for our greater good. And if we are ignoring one part, it's going to be an imbalance somewhere. So my focus right now is Gen Z. I want to talk to Gen Z for a second. So Gen Z, please, if you're in the building, come. That means you were born between 1997 to 2012. You are considered Gen Z, according to, what is this one? Who is this? According to the insiderintelligence.com. Okay. And also Britannica.com also says that Gen Z is between 1997 to 2012. So if you're a Gen Z, please come to the front. Please come to the front. Okay. Come up. Come in. Come in for a second. Come. You're not in trouble. You ever heard? You ever hear your auntie again? I'm Ghanaian American, so they're like, Bobby, like, come here. No, not scary. I don't want to scare you. I just want to I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you because I understand that you all have so much information that it's kind of hard to decipher what is for you and what is not for you. You understand? Again, thank you, NFL Shaw, for the love and the diamonds. It's hard to decipher what is for you and what is not for you. Do you hear me? I want you all to take a minute and think about your older cousins, right? Or even think about your parents, right? And take a look at their lives, right? And that's the beauty about being like, the later generation, is because you're able to look at the elders and those that came before you and see, okay, all right, they did it like this. All right, so when I did get my time, I'm going to do it like that. You get what I mean? Well, I'm going to do it a little better, right? than them. But what is better to you? Now, I say this with as much with love. I say this with so much love, but I think you all really need to understand the art of what it means to be mindful. Okay, because what I'm hearing now, let me know if I'm right or wrong. You all are not really dating, so to speak. Oh no, you guys, no, excuse me. You guys are dating, but you all are dating. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Multiple partners, right? So everybody got hoes. Okay, so everybody has a hoe, or not one hoe, but multiple hoes. Okay, guys and girls. This is I'm gonna focus on the heteros right now because apparently those in the community seem to be safe. And when I say safe, I mean they're a lot more mindful about their actions because unfortunately with the history of those in the community, a lot of it has a lot of their a lot of the downfall, right? Or the fear is to be contracted with AIDS, right? Nobody wants AIDS. Okay, like that's the thing. Nobody ever wanted AIDS, right? Let's talk about this. Nobody talks about it enough, so I'm gonna have that conversation. Let's talk about it. No one ever wants to talk about AIDS. No one wants to talk about the contraction of different sexually transmitted disease. Yet, if I gather correctly, and again, we're going to refer back to our Convos with Jace, which will be airing sometime soon. Make sure you guys all subscribe, liking, and commenting. Just keep us in your realm. Okay, and if you want more, you can always subscribe to our newsletter, which is free. And then we have exclusives, just shameless plug as always. But it is what it is. So not only are you guys dating or have hoes, as you guys say, you have hoes, multiple hoes. You know your partner has multiple hoes, and you all are still not using contraceptive. Yeah, eh? You all are not. Go back and listen to Jay-Z. Y'all are, it says, I put the rubber on tighter. We share that girl. Now, my generation, we were so fearful of contracting, the HIV, right? That was something. And so that was a real thing, right? Like a lot of folks were passing away, and of course they put it on the community. But let's be honest, we're all fluid now, right? That's the new. You guys all panned. Everybody's this. I'm fluid. I don't associate with this one. I don't even know the. Please don't forgive me. I'm not trying to down. I'm not trying to be. I'm not trying to. I'm not mocking anybody. I just want you all to just pay attention to how you're moving, because make it make sense for someone like me. Please make it make sense for someone like myself. All right, who is literally a millennial, who literally just turned 40 this year. Okay, so I'm considered old my now, right? I'm old my status. Okay, so you got multiple hoes. Everybody's got a hoe. Everybody got more than one hoe. And make sure I'm not hallucinating. Hey girl, girl, let's talk about it. Everybody got multiple hoes, and y'all not protecting safe sex. So when Jace was talking to me about you all, like everybody's moving in fear. Okay, hold on, we got a comment. The rappers and ball players have multiple women, and like the Nick Cannon baby mama situation. Okay, but it's not the rappers anymore, to share. It's not the rappers anymore. Okay, the age group between 1997 to 2012, right? The Gen Z folks. It's not just the rap. These are everyday people now. Everyday people now have multiple. They got holes now. You remember how back in the day I got holes in different area codes? No, these kids are actively living this lifestyle. And at first, it just used to be the men that will say these things. And now, of course, we got the, ski. So now we have the new generation that's also speaking up on these things too. And of course, we're all free spirited, of course. So when I was getting the first information, I said, okay, so since you guys are so liberated, you guys definitely are getting tested a lot more. No, you're not. I'll come back to I'll put it in my Twitter and whatnot on the statistics of how many of y'all getting tested. So not only are protecting, not only are you having unprotected sex with multiple partners, and you all are fluid, right? And they primarily scared the gay. They scared us about the community, the gay community, right? The LGBTQIA community, about them being the ones that they're the only ones that are can contract it. So they're a lot more mindful. Say what you want to say about them, but they're a lot more mindful. They're a lot more informative on all the different strands of diseases that there are out. Yet the heterosexuals are having multiple partners, and everybody's fluid, right? There's no such thing as DL anymore, thank God, in a way. So you all know that your partners could be, having other same sex partners, and we already know the risk of that. So now, and now you all are not even the ones to get, not even getting tested. I gotta breathe on that. I love y'all because that's why I'm breathing. I love you guys. That's why I'm breathing. You know, I'm really grateful for this platform. I'm really grateful to have this platform. I knew that I needed to keep teaching, right? Um, as you all know, if you don't know, I followed the American dream, right? As a first generation immigrant. So your parents come here. They strive to come to the land of milk and honey. Is that supposed to be America, or is that heaven? But anyway, if you ask any foreigner, everybody wants to come to America. Come into America. Hey, we're here. Oh, blue passports. Hey, we can travel. We can do this and that. All right, land of opportunity. Correct. But there's also other things that come into that. We're not talking about the evils that come in, that the evils of the world that is a part of this, right? The temptations. Yes, we have free will. Yes, we are liberated. Yes, it's a beautiful thing. We have freedom of speech. Correct. So I did the studies in psychology, and as I was studying psychology, I said, man, I wish my people, as I was in the classes, I'm like, oh my God, this information is great. I don't think anybody knows about this. No, I don't think, my peers don't know about this information. I don't think they understand how powerful the mind is, how powerful what we see actually affects us. Don't worry, I'm here. I'm here now. Don't worry. I'll give you the breakdown on what we see and how much that actually affects you subconsciously. Okay. Hey, Aminata. Subconsciously, how it affects you. You don't even know. Oh. So I did the studies, and then from there, my bonus dad passed away. Oh, rest in peace to Uncle P. If you know, you know. Okay? One of the few angels in this earth. He was the first one that I saw go away, like that died. It was caused of a terminal illness. You can check the previous live where I discuss him a little bit more, and in previous podcast episodes where I talk about him a little bit. I always talk about him wherever the opportunity presents itself. And he was such a beautiful gift to this world that everywhere he goes, he was like the glue to the family. It doesn't matter how wrong somebody was, but like, yo, he killed somebody. He was like, hey, ow. I'm like, Uncle P here, right? Hey, when your time comes, you do it your own way. Like, that's it. That was him. Just cool. It wasn't until he was towards his last, like the later part of his dying days, or his last few days, I don't like to say that, the last few days of his life, where he started, he started to get a little spicy with us. Like, look here, niggas. I'm like, oh. I was like, why'd you keep that? I wish you kept that same energy early on life, but it's okay. Thank you. He gave us what we were supposed to have. Okay. So when he passed away, that was when I think I was working I was working as a support counselor. So I was like fresh out of college, and I left my previous job working at the bank, because I said, you know what, guys, I got to put this degree to use now. You know what I mean? Like, look here, I done graduated now. All right, it's time to apply this knowledge. Fresh eye, bushy tail. Go to my first organization. It was awesome. So I'm working with the adults with developmental disability. I'm like, yes, abnormal psychology in effect. I'm seeing this person has this diagnosis, that person has that diagnosis. All right. This person is taking this medication. Mind you, those medications that these people are taking, horse pills. Just saying. That's what it look like. Don't shoot the messenger. But it's okay because I'm here for the community. I'm here to service them. All right. We're servicing them. Cool. So we're servicing the community. So I'm working with them. But as I'm working with them, I'm letting them know that I still acknowledge you as a human being. Your feelings are still valid. I'm not here for you to just be getting pumped up with medication all the time, because that my job was to, work on whatever skill that they needed to work on, right? Whatever goal that they have, and also ensure that they were also following, their treatment plans, correct? And I would also go with them to their doctor's appointments. But in the midst of, during the interim of going with them to their doctor's appointments, right? I then had the opportunity to speak with them on a one-on-one, like, yo, how the meds? You like it? Is it helping you or no? And then they'll tell me their side effects. Some of them say, like, no, I don't really like it that much. So then as their support counselor, right? Because I had the degree and everything, I took a couple of classes and I understand. So I'm able to advocate, which is to speak on their behalf, right? I was able to advocate for them and say, hey, they said that this medication is doing this to them, or this is causing that. So then either the psychiatrist, most likely that's who we'll be seeing, because they were literally on, a lot of them were on psychotropic meds, and some of them had some medical conditions as well. They would then, they were of course grateful for me and those that were like me. And then they would have the conversation. Okay, well, maybe we'll take you off of this. Maybe we'll reduce that, right? So then you were able to balance it. So as the advocate, I was able to, process, okay, are they able to be active members of society? Are they able to live independently? Okay, you can't tell me nothing. I love that job. Then I got promoted really fast to the I forget what it was called. I think it was support advisor. It was the position. And then I was like responsible for a whole group homes medical appointments. I had to ensure that, okay, this person is due for their medical appointment. I had to make sure they had it, just to kind of follow up. Do they need any refills? Do they da. So, it was a thing. I loved it. I don't regret any of my employment experiences, because they all helped me better myself. And shout out to my first full-time job, you know, because there I learned how to be a professional. There I understood, human resources. Then I understood what it is, to articulate yourself in a professional manner, right? And not just be like, hold up now. Don't get me wrong. I could code switch, because my code switching my code switching is like little Kim now. So don't get the game twisted, huh? If you know, you know. So there's a time and a place for everything. So I'm going to try to make a long story short, as Mars would say. Yes. Is that from there, my bonus dad passed away. I couldn't do the job as much as I couldn't be there to focus. So then life, I needed a break, a viable, one of the, my God, I mean, the blessing of to have him as a bonus dad. We should all be grateful to have bonus dads like this one. You understand? So I had to take a step back. At first I said I need a leave of absence. They say your job, your position is too demanding. We can't give you a leave of absence. You have to you have to resign. So listen, you people do what you have to do. As for me, I have to take care of myself. This is my first time ever experiencing a loss. And at that time, I think I was 25 going on 26. Okay. First time ever experiencing someone passing away close to me. So I took the time off. And then I said, you know what? I got this psychology degree, because my whole thing was, what am I going to master in? Right? Because we all know that with psychology, you have to go further up, or else you won't see the money. You'll be wiping people's backsides. All, forgive me, but let's be real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's keep it funky. And so I said, you know what? I like kids. Maybe I could do school psychology. All right. So you know how this story goes. So then I became a substitute teacher. Then I was going to become an actual teacher, blah, 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 blah. Oh, you said I had to calm you. You said you remember I had to calm you down on the job. For real. Listen, I don't even know. Like, I feel like this is like my calling. I'm able to hear people, but thank you. Thank you for that testimony, because we all need somebody, because if not, we're going to pop off. Let me see. We saw the girl at the daycare. Okay, it's coming back to me. We saw the girl at the daycare pull on my son. I remember now. It's coming back to me. Okay, let's read Tashira's testimony. She said, "We saw the girl at the daycare pull on my son's arm as if to rush him out the room. I was going to turn up, but you helped me calm down." What? And how many years ago was that? You know, like, bless you and thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that with the general public, man. Because yeah, you was about to pop off as you should. Like Corvette, hop in a fucking jet like that. Don't be pulling people kids now. But I mean, amen. I'm glad that I was able to be there. And thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. That helps me too. Because I'll be doing good out there in the public, even though, I know it's gonna take time, but it's okay. So I then went on to the educational field. I said, you know what I'm going to be? Maybe I like kids. School psychology. Yes, girl. I guess she was ready to go, but not at my son's expense. I know that's right. We're gonna pause. Let's I'm gonna put a pin on my thing and let's talk about that right quick. Thank you. Okay, some folks are in jobs and they're just doing it to do it. I said that a few weeks ago. Don't just be taking jobs just to do it. If you know your heart isn't into it, don't play yourself. And I'm gonna shameless plug to my auntie. Boom. Y'all see this? Get the book whenever you get a chance. Whenever you get a chance, rewards. Oh, this woman. This is a queen right here. You understand me? When you see it, when she used to walk into the room, you can feel the sovereignty. Don't cut like her husband says, don't waste my time. That's the energy that she was given. But she made up. I learned it through her book. I didn't know. I used to just take jobs because, they're going to give me the money. I don't know when I'm going to get it again. That's called moving out of fear. That's called moving out of fear. Because in her book, I remember specifically where, she is a biochemist. Like she's got some, she got some heavyweight, she's she's a big, she's about that life. Okay. She's a biochemist. She's a late biochemist. And she was talking about her experiences coming into the States as she was going to school. And as she was doing her master's studies out here at the University of Pennsylvania. And she discusses where, it was time for her to find a job. But she knew that she shouldn't just take the first job that offered her money or offered her. She knew that she shouldn't take the first offer, because in this country, whatever you take, however the way the system works, that's kind of like where they keep you at. That's like kind of the pay level they keep you at. So if you notice you take jobs and you're like, I'm trying to get more money, but you can't, it's because whatever it is in this labor system, I don't know it, but if you're in the background, if you're in HR and put it in the comments or just DM me or just send me some information on that, because I know it's a thing. But she said it to me and I said, you remember that Omar Epps meme where he go, like, you just found out something? I just found out. I didn't know. I did not know. So when you're applying for a job, you can't, don't take anything. Take something that you're going to love doing. Like I loved working in the bank until I knew that I needed to level up myself, right? From, to get some actual real life experience underneath my degree. I'm sorry, I'm not taking actual people in the live, but you can make a comment. Please message whatever it is you like to say so that, I can get you, I can acknowledge it. You understand? So don't just take anything. And that woman, back to Tashira, she said, she grabbed the child. You don't be grabbing nobody's kids if you know you don't have patience. Working with kids is not the field for you. Okay? If you know you don't have patience or you're not actively working on building the patience, working with kids is not for you. My daughter's teacher called because there's a teacher shortage. I'm going to another sidetrack really quickly. And he said he's about, I think he says about 58 years old. He's a new teacher. Now, if you guys remember hearing prior to, apparently she didn't have a real teacher. She had like a TA filling in until they found the actual teacher, because there is still a teacher crisis, a teacher shortage that's occurring here in the States. Okay. So because of that teacher crisis, they found somebody okay, who is now certified. But guess how old the puppet? It's 58. So I, so I had to talk to my child. I said, please take it easy on somebody's. This is somebody's pop here. Okay, you understand? I said you can't be, because he's like, I don't like to repeat myself. And I ain't gonna hold you. My child knows. Sometimes I can be talking to her because she doesn't want to do the thing that I'm telling her to do, she'll ignore me. She'll act like she didn't even hear it. And I'll be like, look, I know you don't want to do it, but it's not one of those things like, she's like, if you build it, it will come. Or like, or it will go away. Like, she's like, if I ignore her, if I ignore her, I won't have to do it. No, it's going to make me even more upset. Don't ignore her, So when he said, I don't like repeating myself, I said, don't worry. I said, I totally get you. I said, we'll be working together so that, for Lee to, correct that. So now I have leverage now, because now I have a teacher to say, So now when she's doing the thing, I'm like, you see, that's what the teacher's saying. I said it already once. So now I got backup. I'm not the only one going mad. I'm not going mad. My child, she's funny, So in this case, I have to kind of work with the pape. I have to work with the teacher because there's a teacher shortage. And God bless them for going to even come back and say, let me go back into schools. Because when I was actually considering going into the educational field, man, them teachers was retiring left and right. And I was working in the city of Newark, New Jersey. Okay. I was working in the city of Newark, New Jersey. I will say it, an urban city. So a lot of the urban cities, them kids be spicy, honey. If you don't got tough skin, she God be with you. Okay. So as I was in the field, I loved it. I loved it because I was able to connect with the kids and they were connecting with me. See, this is in a way, teaching is kind of a young man's game to a certain extent because you have the agility to kind of get to their levels. You have always had dope energy and personality with yourself. May God increase whatever. Oh, you put together. Bless you. Bless you. You will be like, kisses, girl. Kisses. You will always be blessed as well. Thank you. And thank you for reassuring. Because sometimes there'll be moments, I'll be telling you, there'll be times, or there were times, not anymore, but there were times when I was young. And I'll be like, why am I like this? Like, why do I care? I would literally, because my mom would earth signs. So she'd be like, girl, get out of here. And the water, if you guys have watched Elemental, thank God for that Disney movie Elemental. And if you haven't seen it, go ahead and check it out. And we have the ability as water signs naturally to we feel everything. It's like, and do you know how long it took me to realize that not only was I feeling my feelings, but I was feeling the feelings of those around me? I think I will not forget, it was around the age of 25. Oh, amen. Thank you, sister. Amen. I believe. Prepare for. Don't get me started dancing over here. You. For those if you have eyes to see, to sure you always been. I know you've always been an honest one. I love you too. Yo. She's fire, and you're fire, right? And remember, you're an Aries. If memory serves me correctly, I believe you're Aries. Yes. You're fire, I think. So if memory serves me correct, Elemental was the Disney movie, and they're talking about how the different elements when they react, how they react. So me being water, I'm always feeling, and they always laugh at water and say we cry babies. It's true because I was watching the movie. I was like, I was holding back the tears. I wasn't. I mean, of course they exaggerated because it's a cartoon, but I was definitely holding back the tears in a lot of extent. But there was times that, I mean, as a Cancer, right? Because I'm July born. I just had the natural, or in addition to being July born, also part of my makeup, I just had the natural ability to feel. I could literally feel people, and I didn't know. I thought it was all me. I thought it was just all of my emotions. I didn't realize that I was actually, what does it call it? An empath. I didn't discover I was an empath until I was 25 years old, where I had to start distancing myself from, some people, because I'll see my friends going through stuff. I'll see my friends going through things, and I'm also solution based as well. So not only am I solution based, I'm also an empath. So I can feel what you're going through, right? Physiologically, I can feel it. Like, that's just my makeup. Apparently, it's part of my gift, I'm sure. It didn't seem like a gift then. But now I'm seeing it for the gift that it is now, because I had to kind of let that gift mature and season a bit, so it can just make sense to me. And yeah, I think I was around the age, a little bit, like, I think right before my bonus dad passed away. So it was a little bit before I turned 25, where I realized, okay, I have to start distancing myself from people who are not willing to do the work. Some people like to just sit there in misery, man. They'll be like, oh man, this person's doing this person's doing that. So I'm like, well, why don't you move? But get up and go. Is it by force? Do they have a gun to your head? What is it? But sometimes you guys just like to, some people, not all, some people, sometimes you people just like to sit in it. And so you want to sit in it. You like the way it's, you like the way it smells? No, get up and move. So I realized early, okay, if the people I keep around me do not have progressive mentality, then I don't think I can keep them too close to me, because it weighs me down. It holds me back. You know. Okay. How did I get there? How did I get to this point? Okay, I say all that to say, it took me getting sacked, right? When I didn't get sacked, but I couldn't do the job because I wasn't able. I needed a leave of absence, and they couldn't provide the leave of absence for my first mental health job as a new undergraduate, right? So then I went into the educational field. Loved it. Loved it. But remember, I told you I'm an empath. Okay. So the children, beautiful. I mean, the children were feeding me, man. Like, when I say feeding me, spiritually giving, because children just have this beautiful energy about them, because it's so innocent and they want to do right. And I was giving right back to them, like, yeah, you're gonna be great, And I was schooling them, like, all right, watch out for this, pay attention to that. You definitely want to go to school if you can, but bam, I was just giving it. Miss Nunu, because my last name is Nunu. Hello, uh, part of the Nikki New. I'm not just using trendy words. It's actually, you are a Nunu. I'm a Nunu. So they're like, yo, Miss Nunu, yo, you mad cool. So, and I always had like this youthful energy. And then they like the way I dress, because when I dress, I do my, I like to wear my heels. I like to step. I will step proper. If I'm coming to a professional environment, you'll see the professional that I am. So they love that. They're like, yes, because they have something to look up to. I was giving them something. I was feeding them, but because I wanted to be there. I don't do anything that I don't feel. Back to Tashira, what she was saying. The person was pulling her child, like, as if what? Then you're not supposed to work. If you know you're gonna be grabbing somebody's child, my friend. I saved that woman there, because the way she was ready to give it to them, I saved her. But trust, there won't always be somebody like me to save you from the ass whooping that you're probably going to get, like, or the one that you even deserve. I won't always be there. Somebody like me may not always be there. So when you're picking these professions, make sure it's something that you enjoy doing it. Because when you love to do your job, you make everybody around you feel good. Your coworkers will be coming and hanging out and be wanting to talk to you more, right? They'll be more intrigued by you, because there's a joy within you, and you cannot, that light is shines through. All right. So no matter what you do, make sure you like to do what you do. Okay. And I say all that to say, it may take some time for you to figure out exactly what it is that you are intended to do, but do not lose sight of your heart, of the desires that are in your heart. If you know you like to draw, if you know you're into digital, if you know you're even into creating content, if you know that you're into talking, if you know that you're just into photography, if you know that you're into cooking, shout out to sweet Ajali. because last night, if you don't know, if you go check on my Instagram, I posted my jollof rice that I was able to create. Okay. As I'll tell you every time, I'm a Ghanaian American. So that means my parents were born in Ghana, but I was the first person of our lineage of their union to be born in the States, the United States. Okay. So that means that even though we're living in the United States, in our household, it's Ghana, right? The foods that we eat is Ghana. The language that is spoken primarily most of the time is our native dialect, right? Is our tongue. The foods that we're eating are our traditional foods. Okay. Beautiful story about how strong lineages and heritage is. When I was pregnant with my daughter, the only thing that I could eat was African food. Her dad is not first. Her dad is an damn. I don't want to play him out, but he's not a first generation. He's like my parents. He's the first of his. He's the first of his people to come into the states and make a way. So so my daughter or his okay, our child, our daughter is first generation for him, right? Because they're from Ivory Coast. So she's first generation Ivorian, second generation. She's first generation Ivorian American, second generation Ghanaian American. You got it, because her mom has been here. Her mom was born here, so I can I could put her onto game. Now, if she takes my game or not, that's between her and God. But of course, my prayers for her to always be mindful. She'd be like, can you imagine your mom is like, be mindful every minute? But I try not to push it too much down her throat. I'm like, you can take over the business. She's looking at me like, not too much. I'm like, okay, sorry. You do what you want to do. Elemental, do what you want to do. But so I say that to say, sweet Ajali, I've always loved jollof. Like jollof rice is the dish. You guys know. You guys are exposed enough to the culture now. Everybody knows about jollof, Ghana jollof versus Nigerian jollof. So last night I made Ghana jollof. Now my jollof rice, I can make all of the stews. Okay, because my mom, she taught me, but the way she taught me, she just told me, I was just in the kitchen. I was a sous chef in the kitchen. So she'll say, cut the onions, cut the tomatoes, primarily the dishwasher, wash the dishes. I was doing most of the washing of the dishes. So whatever. I didn't really cook. I didn't cook at all actually in the house. I was just the sous chef that was chopping up the onions and washing the dishes. But when I moved out on my own at the age of 19, we'll talk about that experience. Listen to your parents. But also follow your intuition as well. So I once I moved out, I said, man, I could use some groundnut soup right now. I need some spinach stew. So I was able to prepare the dishes based on memory, because I was like, okay, because I was in the kitchen with her, right? But it was the jollof rice that I was always kind of like playing double dutch with, like, because with jollof rice, you have to be able to prepare the gravy. If you haven't mastered your gravy, then your jollof won't be too nice. So it was always that gravy. And my mom had remarried to a Liberian, my bonus dad, who is of Liberian slash Ivorian, descent, right? And the Liberians always laugh at the Ghanaians because everything we make is tomato, 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 tomato. But that's our thing. And the jollof rice is tomato based too. So you have the gravy is tomato based. There's a lot of tomatoes going on in there. But the thing about tomatoes, if you don't cook it properly, it will be tart and tangy. So if you cook your tomato right well enough, it can be sweet. So that was always kind of my thing, my gravy, getting it properly. And then not only do you have to master the gravy, then the next step is to add the rice into the gravy mix, the gravy that you just created, to evenly coat it so that the rice is now cooking in the gravy. For me, that was just always like, it'll either be that I put too much rice or I didn't have enough stew. It was just always that balance that I was like, I felt defeated in my early 20s. I was like, I'm just not ready for jollof. I haven't reached my auntie status yet. And then rest in peace. Then my mom passed. I still remember her jollof rice was banging because she was doing the best of both worlds. It was like a combination of Ghana jollof mixed with Liberian jollof. Have you ever had? And Liberian food is. We'll talk about that later. Liberian food is sweet though. So she had her own little thing going on. I'm like, so everybody know, oh, Auntie Mavis jollof. Yeah. So for a Ghanaian, she earned the respect of the Liberians because the Liberians be like, they always be laughing at our food because everything's tomato based. So that's like a little side story there. And yesterday before church or after church, I said, I'm going to make that because I saw Sweet Angela. I think I saw her short, and she had a short creating jollof rice. I said, and I looked at how she and all had all of the ingredients. I said, okay, I think I can do it. I can just watch it play over and over again. And she actually is a family friend. Fun, cool fact is that she's a family friend. So I remember seeing her like as a little girl growing up, every now and then. And she has the same sweet smile and the same sweet energy that you see on her page. Beautiful. You just know the beautiful souls when you see her. She's one of them. So I followed her. I followed her recipe step by step, and I was able to confidently make my batch of jollof. I've made jollof before, and it's been able to pass some tests, but I know that I feel like, oh, that one was by chance, or I wasn't too confident. But this time, I'm like, okay, I ate it. I was like, yes. Now I know what to do for next time. I was like, okay, next time it's going to be even better. So that's sweet, Angela. That's how I got into that. She loves what she does. You can tell she loves what she does, and she is giving me, the Ghanaian American, right, the tools that I need to continue to keep my culture alive. And my daughter said, Lena, I said, you like it? She said, yeah. I said, thank God, because that girl's picky. I said, thank you, Lord. Okay, so now I can make jollof again. All right. So anyway, back to Gen Z. Gen Z, we're going to wrap this up. I'm not beating you up. I promise you I'm not beating you up. I just want you to know and just remind you that by God's grace, we all have time. I understand that you all are the generation that have experienced school shootings, right? You are the generation that's seeing the world shut down and all of the drama, because the drama is not. See, for us, the drama used to be on the news station, right? So we had the opportunity to just turn off the TV or watch MTV, which is what I was reprimanded for a lot. My bonus said, "Oh, Nikki, you're watching these things. You don't even know what's going on in the world." Now look at me. I'm the one that's now telling you guys what's going on in the world. You see how life, it all works itself out. So don't count yourself out. Don't count yourself out so soon. Don't count yourself out. Like Derek Lewis says, every second, make it count, but not out of fear. Don't do it because, I feel like I have to. I need to take the job. Then that means, I'm sure most of you grew up, with some type of faith. And if you didn't, connect with the source, connect with the source, a higher power. Okay. But to have faith is to not be anxious. You guys want me to start reading scripture too now? This is what you guys can be doing to me. It's not me though. It's the Lord. I'm just being used. I love Spirit to use me. So let's go ahead and let's talk. Let me read that verse. Because sometimes we have to remind ourselves. I know that out right now in the world, like Kanye West said, look at that. Nobody even talk about Kanye no more. Yeezy all day, baby. Like he said, if I talk about God, my records won't get played. It's true. It's true. I even tell you guys, I said, listen, I talk the truth. I speak the truth. So because I'm speaking the truth, sometimes you may see it, sometimes you may not. But if you want it uncensored, then you know what to do. Make sure you subscribe so that you can get it uncensored. Because there's only but so much I can talk about on these public platforms. Because the mission is to remove you all far away, from the light, from the source, from the truth, so that they can control you. Why do you think the rates in your generation of mental health symptoms and or illnesses is so high? Why do you think anxiety is so high? You guys are not only you able to see it on the, well, nobody really has, I mean, shout out to you if you have cable, that means you're bawling. But most people don't have cable anymore, right? Most people are just streaming. So we're streaming, and then we have social media. So with social media, everything is in your face. So you're still exposed to it. You may have to set your settings so that you're not exposed to so many graphic things, but you're still going to see it. You just got to be mindful of scrolling past it. Or I notice a lot of you are actually maybe deactivating your account. It's okay to deactivate your account for a little bit. Mental health break. Yes, it's a real thing. You can't be consuming all of this stuff all the time. Our generation knew that. You know what they would call the generation? You know what they would call people that used to speak about this before all of this happened? They would call them dirty backpackers. If you're in my generation, you know what I'm talking about. They call them the dirty backpackers. The dirty backpackers. See, those are the folks that will listen to Talib Kweli, Mos Def, right? Erica Badu, Jill Scott, Bilal, Neo Soul. That was the genre that was feeding us, the information that we needed to stay grounded. Staying grounded is not new. Erica Badu and those before, they've been doing it. I know Erica Badu first because that's who my older brother introduced me to. If you don't want to be down with me, then you don't want to eat from my apple tree. And if you don't want to be down with me, you dumb diddy. So ladies, Gen Z, because you're gonna hear that episode. I'm gonna say anxious verse from the Bible. I also want to remind you that anxious verse in the Bible, because sometimes I have a Christian foundation, so that's what I know. Now, if you have Islamic faith and you have something that can also tie into it, by all means, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Listen, as long as we listen, I serve a higher power, and as long as we're doing what we're all intended to do, please, I don't care what you call God or source. Just ensure your intentions are right. So is it Philippians 4:6? We should know this. We should all know this. Be anxious for nothing. Okay. If your parents or your grandparents weren't taking you to church, or if they did and you forgot, let's come back and remind you. All right. There's no such thing as the information that you got is like, oh, it's old, it's past. We don't need it. No, you still need to apply it. That's the thing about learning. Okay. You're responsible for what you know once you've been taught it. Now, if you don't apply it, life is going to remind you why you should have been adhering to what you already know. Okay? So be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and petition with thanksgiving. Now, where's the one that it talks about? I like the one where it says the birds don't know what they're going to eat. So why should you be anxious? I forget. But the point is that I know that the world, I understand that the media is just giving you so much negativity, and they are just probably trying to fear you out of being your best self or the best version of you possible. Okay. Which is why you need to start taking more time to listen to yourself first. Okay. Once you're able to connect with yourself, hear yourself, you can be able to start detecting who is for you and who is not. Or you can start to decipher the information that is for you to keep and the information that is not for you to discard. And I'm going to make this last part right here before I close out. Fear no man but God. I know it looks crazy as fuck out here. Trust me, I see it too. I see it too. Okay? But the beautiful part about where I am was that I was also warned about what is to come, or what was occurring from those artists that was feeding our spirits and that was feeding our soul. neo soul. Okay. So shout out to you all. I know my younger sister, she's an old soul. Like she listens to like old school R&B. Like she still taps in. She's a Gen Z too. She still taps in, to whatever else is present, but her spirit is like old school R&B. Okay. Which may also be a testament as to why she's not in these situations that maybe some of you are. No shade at all, and don't take it as that. But when you know better, you do better, and it's okay. It's okay. We fall down, we get back up. It's cool. But I just want to be a friendly reminder that you are good. All right. When your time comes, make sure you've enjoyed every moment of your life. Don't make any of these decisions out of fear, because there's always going to be a point of your life where you're going to, depending on how far you make it. But once you reach a certain age, you start to look back on the things. Did I do everything that I wanted to do? Were you being true to yourself? Ask yourself that question. So this is what I'm going to wrap up to. So this was emotional support hour, but I was on one, y'all. I said, let me tell you why I'm mad, son. Okay. I'm mad because, my shit more John Blaze. No, I'm more so concerned. And I want you all to just live your best lives. And I want you to just enjoy life as well. Enjoy life for all it has to offer. Okay. You guys are in a very fortunate position. So make sure you're using that information. Yes. To better yourself, whatever that may look like for you. So you'll be able to hear more with my conversation with the Gen Zer, Convos with Jace, who's also a gentleman, he's part of your crew. He's a part of your crew, but he's also watching you. He's also watching his peers kind of, I don't want to say fall off, but you guys are like, you guys are drinking the Kool-Aid. Don't drink too much of it. They cloned Tyrone was a real thing. Stay woke. Until next time. Oh, my stomach is growling. Are you mad? All right, guys, we're going to close out. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for staying and sticking with us. You are the real MVPs, yes? MVPs. See you tomorrow. Oh, show. I'll close you off with that.